Alright, now in this video I'm mostly going to try to cover the tournament plays, the score sheets that we're going to be using. Okay, so I show up at the tournament. Usually we hand out these score sheets, and usually it's about this big. It runs these many games. It'll be front and back. That's usually the best way to run it. We're going to do one game real quick. Basically, it helps if you have, like, say, a guy named Scott. He shows up to play, and what he's going to do, he's going to be playing his opponent. Now, whoever his opponent is, we don't know yet until we tell him they're going to be playing. Now, Scott, he's going to know that currently, if he's going to have to go to the website, or we will have to actually have to go to the website and verify exactly what his average is. His average is a 5.63. He's going to be playing with a 6 average. Now, his average can change throughout the whole day, which we're going to be using our disqualifier for that. So Scott we're going to be starting off at 5.63. We also have several other people that are going to be playing. Wrong one. Now we'll have Nate. Well, let's say okay, we put in Hoon. Hoon is a 6.81. 6.81. We have Sean at a 4.48. And we have RDA at a 3.60. Now, I try to find, just as a quick example, the people that had the most difference in handicap, so that way we can verify a little bit, validate a little bit differences. Okay, so we're going to put this in, and we're going to tell when Scott comes into play and he gets his score sheet. He's going to be running his score sheet. We're going to tell him, okay, Scott, you're a 6. So then Scott will then go to his score sheet. He'll pull up his score sheet, and he'll put down that he is a 6 for the night. Now, a 6 for his first game. So basically, he at a 6, he's only going to need 23 points to win against his first opponent. We don't know who his first opponent's going to be. So we say, for example, he pulls up and he gets Hoon. Now, Hoon's a 7 at a 6.81. So we're going to put down Hoon as is his first opponent at a 7. So Hoon's got to get 28 wins. Now, normally what makes it the easiest way is not each one has to have their own score sheet. So if Hoon's going to be playing Scott, Scott's got his own score sheet too. He doesn't necessarily have to write down the scores on his score sheet as well. I mean, he can if he wants to for his own copy purposes or whatnot, but you guys can share the same score sheet. You guys can keep using the same score sheets the whole night. Well, I mean, Scott can keep using his score sheet. Sometimes he can actually just use write his name on his opponent's score sheet and just use his opponent's score sheet throughout, for their match, and then the next game he can use his. It doesn't matter. All that matters is just the game that they are playing. Okay, so Scott's got to get to 23 wins. He's got to knock 23 points in, while Hoon's got to knock in 28 points. So basically, the easiest thing is as Scott is shooting, Hoon can be tracking. Hoon can be tracking the scores for him. So say he notices he makes the 6, the 3, 4, and then all of a sudden he's off of a combo shot, and then Hoon gets up there, he knocks the 2, the 5, 6, 7, 8. And he misses the 9, and Scott gets the 9. So right there, actually, what Scott's going to actually have is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 points, because the 9 counts for 2 points. So that means that Hoon also got 5 points. So second game, let's just say that, for example, that Scott just runs it out. Bam, just runs it out. Hoon got 0. Scott goes ahead and runs it out again. The next rack. I'm going to show you how you can get disqualified at the same time, and also how to fill these out. Now, officially right there, Scott just won. Example, let's actually step back a little bit. Let's go back. Okay, so Scott's already at 15 points. He needs only 8 more points to win the round, to win against Hoon. So basically, if he's run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, he's at 6 points. All he needs is 2 more points, and he's going to win against Hoon. Let's say Hoon gets the 7, and then he misses the 8 and 9, and then bam, he just got his what that would be 9 points actually. and Hoon just got 1. Okay, then, so now he actually got a total of 24 points out of 3 wrecks, and Hoon just got a total of 6 points out of 3 wrecks. Now, you guys will do is of course, the winner wants to go turn in the score sheet. So he could just swap out his score sheet, give the loser his score sheet, say, all right, this is when you go to the loser's bracket, you can use my score sheet. I'm going to take your score sheet and take it over to and turn it into the administrator, which will then put in the scores. So the scores were 24-3 and 6-3. So we will put that in there. The 24 out of 3 games, and Hoon got a 6 out of 3 games. Now, this is where it shows as the average is starting to spike up. This means that he's playing a lot better than he normally played throughout the season. He was a 6 average, but now he's playing this right here is almost at an 8 average, those 3 games. But because this is including the 20 games in the back end right here. So see, it's a total of 23 games. So there's still no need to fret. He's still fine. If he plays again the same format again, his next game, it still kept him below the disqualification round. If he did the same thing the next round again, now he's starting to get nervous right there. All right, so it's gonna go up and down. But the better players usually are the ones that have the hardest time, and they're wary the most about being disqualified. And that's pretty much how the score sheets right here. This is what we're trying to focus on, is the score sheets, how they're being filled out. Like I said, just put an X. Whenever if Scott's shooting, Hoon would go in there and put the X's for Scott's every ball that Scott drops. Then when Hoon is shooting, Scott would go right behind him, and will also be filling in the score sheet right behind him, putting in the X's as Hoon is dropping in balls for him. That way you don't have to try to memorize what balls you drop. Your opponent is scoring it for you. And then when it's your turn to go up there and watch your opponent shoot, you can validate that he actually did write it down properly. This is what you'll be turning in at the tournament, and this is how the averages are devised. Now, next game is the same thing. This is just, say right there, let's see if his average changed. Let's see if Scott's average changed. So say Scott is still a 6.3, but some people can go down. Say Hoon, he dropped to a 6. So inevitably, let's erase these last games right there. So inevitably, Hoon is now a 6. For his next couple of games, he can be playing at a 6 average. He doesn't have to get up to start playing where he has to win 28 games his next game. He'll only have to win 23 points at his next game. Now, keep in mind also, though, that, let me see, let me clear this up real quick. Now, I'm going to clear these up real quick just so that way we make this a little bit easier, so I can explain the next phase of this. Okay, let's say Scott needs to get to 23 wrecks. He runs it out, 10. Runs out in his next match, 10. Hoon just got 0 and 0. Now, Scott only needs to get 3 more wins. Reality-wise, if he gets those last 3 points, X, X, and X, then he's automatically wins the rest of the rack. The rest of the rack belongs to him, and Hoon just gets a big fat 0 again. And Scott would get 10, no matter what. But let's say the opposite. Let's say that he doesn't run it all the way out right away. Let's say he gets 1 point, and then Hoon turns around and gets the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5 ball. Now, Scott gets the 6 and the 7. He only needed 3 points. He gets the rest of the points, which is he doesn't get the full rack. He just gets the 1, the 6, 7, 8, and 9. So basically, he would get a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He would get 6 points, and Hoon would actually have gotten 4. So that's how the tournament is ran, and this is how the score sheets are filled out, and this is how it's turned in. Now you guys can use this tutorial at the tournament and run it live. if you guys got a network hookup with some speakers and something like that. So that way it can be explained to the players how to run the tournament. All right, or how to fill out your score sheets when you're playing against your opponent. Like I said, averages will be fluctuating, especially for a player that is teetering in averages. Say like right here, Sean, he's a 4.48, so he's at a 4. He's at a 4, but as soon as he goes up to say a 4.56, let's say a 24-3, that jumps him up to a 5. See how he just jumped up to a 5? So for his next game, he will be playing at a 5 level. But he will not be disqualified until he hits a 5.48. If he's a 4.48, he gets disqualified once he hits a 5.48. And like I said, the averages are all added up at 20 games plus whatever they played throughout the tournament. It makes it very fair. I've never seen anybody disqualified unless those people actually shot down throughout the season on purposely to drive down their averages. Then it's going to make it really hard for them to try to stay in the tournament, win games, and try not to shoot down as much. It's very hard. So it's more beneficial for a player to play their hardest, play their heart out, and just straight up be an honest player. And when they do that, there's no way that they can be disqualified from the tournament. There's just no way. Even if they had the luckiest day of their life, there's no way. But then again, there's no way that you should be a 3 average player, always knocking 3 balls every night, and then you come into the tournament and you're running 10 balls. And I don't care how lucky you are, there's no way you can be running 10, 10, 10, 10. All right, like I said, I hope this helps. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to forward it to me or let me know, and I will make sure that I redraft this video. All right, thank you.